Yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, sports fans! Welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet, Sports Unfolded, where we cover all of this past week's top sports stories. I am your host, Eric. Main man right over there, Ron. How are you tonight?
Fired up. Eric, thought it was going to be a quiet week.
Never is, my friend. Never is. It's the best part about sports is they always give us something to talk about. So, with
like
that,
Bonnie Raitt.
I am still getting my prizes from Ron, but he's banned from Facebook. How can I contact him about my prizes? You can email him. You can definitely email him.
Yeah, Danny, nothing's going to change. Don't worry.
So if you are joining us live like Danny, please join the chat. Let us know what you think about the topics we covered tonight. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of opinions. We do. And we're excited to have you join us in those conversations. Or if there's something else you want to talk about, let us know as well, and we can definitely chime in on that as well. Want to thank all those that are helping us continue to grow. We will start off with Dallas, Georgia. We want to thank them, 99.1 WDJY, 99.1 FM. Thank you for putting us on every Saturday at 1 p.m., as well as 990 WBOB in Providence, Rhode Island, on every Saturday at 10 a.m. We appreciate the support. And SECTV Public Access Channel 12 in Southeast Connecticut on every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Thank you for the support. Thank you for helping us continue to grow. Looking to expand into other markets where we're working on some things. We should be doing that as well. Thank me, Austin. Thank Danny. We did. Thank you for joining us live, Danny. And we will thank anyone else that joins us live. So if you are joining us live, please chime in at any point and let us know what you think.
Biggest fan, Danny.
I did, Danny. I did, buddy. I did. Pay attention. Stay with us, buddy.
Biggest fan.
All right, Ron. You ready to get this party started?
Oh, my God. I cannot wait. Like, every topic is going to be awesome. Every topic.
All right. Well, let's start off with our leadoff story, and that is the Houston Rockets. They have made a trade and have acquired Kevin Durant. Is this a big move for the team? Do you like the move?
You know, generally, lately, I haven't been thinking that it was good moves wherever Durant has gone because he's tried to build those teams. But this is a team that's already set, and they needed somebody to play his position better than what they got last season, especially in that postseason. I think he actually fits the thing that they need. You know, they're a good defensive team. They don't need the defense. They need the offense. They need somebody that can explode and score. And I think that's what they're going to get with him. I mean, no, he's not in his prime. But he's still good. He can still give you 27 points a game, which is A-okay for them.
Yeah, I don't like the move for this reason. Young team, very young team. They built through the draft. I said, think about what OKC did, right? And we just saw them win a NBA final. Young players developing and growing. You get rid of Jalen Green, who's 23 years old, 21 points, 4.6 rebounds, 3.4. I mean, needed to improve his shooting, which Kevin Durant's a much better shooter. But then you get rid of Dylan Brooks, who's that X factor.
You know,
that's that agitator, that defensive guy, the Dennis Rodman-esque type of player that was going to make a difference with this team continuing to grow. And I wasn't sure about that. And I feel like Kevin Durant at 36 The only benefit for the Rockets is he's on his final year of his contract. So if it's not going to work, you're not locked into this guy for the next 3 years.
And that's another benefit for Houston, to be honest with you. Yes, you lost a guy that you like as a character player, but you can pick up another character player somewhere in this league right now. Boston has a lot of them available, apparently. So you can grab somebody from there.
Al
You know,
Horford.
Indiana has a lot of those available right now, so you can grab some from there. I mean, there's a surplus right now of that type of player out there.
Kevin Durant, Danny seems to think he's a joke. I would tend to agree with Danny in one aspect. I mean, he went to Brooklyn, destroyed an organization. He went to Phoenix, destroyed an organization.
Yes.
I get that Houston's built a little different. Ime Udoka did a phenomenal job of getting this team to where it needed to be. They were second in the Western Conference. To make a big change like this sometimes is not beneficial. And I'm questioning if they made this move because of his name and not the player.
I don't think so. I think they weighed what they were going to give up for him. And frankly, it's not a lot. You know, I don't think they gave up a lot for him. And for you to be able to keep those key players that were really important for this team, and then on top of that, get a guy that can score, you know, and especially somebody that could do it in the fourth quarter. And granted, look, I have been all over Kevin Durant for, you know, especially when he was in Brooklyn and when he went into Boston, and Boston just manhandled that team. You know, it's not focused on a Kevin Durant team right now. It is not his team. That's the difference in all of this. And I think because of that, I think he's going to play a little more loose, a little more free, and I think this is actually a good thing for Houston because they were young and they couldn't make that push in the playoffs because of guys like Steph Curry were there standing in the way, and we know what he can do in a postseason by himself. He proved it. Now, this is the chance for Kevin Durant to try to find his way now.
I want to agree with you, but I can't. I just feel like there was a piece there that he's not a guy. He's not a team guy. He's not a guy that's going to make these kids better. He hasn't done it anywhere he's gone. And even when I get what you're saying about building a team where now he comes into a team that's established. But guess what? As a 15-time All-Star, as one of the NBA all NBA team, right? You're looking at it. These kids are going to look at Kevin Durant as their leader. He has not led a team. When he was successful, it's because it was Steph's team, Draymond's team. He was the third wheel in that puzzle, that piece.
Right.
And now you're telling him again, be the guy.
It's actually the fourth piece.
He was, right? You could even say Clay, right? And that's what I'm saying. Now you look at it and say, okay, well, who's the leader on the Rockets? Kevin Durant. When he was the leader in Brooklyn, it's failed. When he was the leader in Phoenix and he had solid players in Phoenix, it failed.
Right. And I know that. Danny's not on my side today. Look, I mean, I get it. The track record for Durant is there. We all know this. Now, if he goes into Houston expecting to be, you know, that offensive threat, and he performs to that level, taking away the ego of being his team. If he goes in there, and I'll compare this to Jason Tatum 2 seasons ago, last season when they won the championship. Tatum didn't go in there trying to do everything in that postseason. If you can get that Kevin Durant to do that, Do what is necessary to get the championship and put your ego aside. You do not have to be the one to get all the points. If he can do that, I think this team could really make a push. But again, we're talking about the West, and it doesn't matter if it's first round, second round. You're going to have a tough matchup.
Ooh.
Period.
You said you sound like Stephen A. Smith right now. Wow. I don't know if is that a compliment or
it's such a bad insult. I mean,
okay.
Really.
Yeah. See, listen, Ron. I think at the end of the day, we got to look at two factors: A, 36, how much is left in the tank,
right?
And B, if you look at what OKC did, I think this was an impulse reaction by the Rockets because they got knocked out so early in the postseason that they're like, we need something. We need a scorer. We need a difference maker.
That's the problem with all of this, right?
Is Kevin Durant a difference maker at this point at 36 years old? I don't think so. Where you've changed the dynamic of your team from a young, fast, up-tempo team to now a Kevin Durant who could get you 25 to 30 points a game, close to, right? He's averaged 26.6 this past season and still shoots the ball extremely well at 43% from three. Like, you look at it and it makes sense on one aspect. But then I start to look at it and I go, okay, but does this slow your tempo down? Now you lose Dylan Brooks, who's gonna be the next guy? Steven Adams, who's not even in the same class. I just felt like they changed their identity when they had an identity that worked, that got them to the second best record in the Western Conference. And all they had to do is fine tune, get a small piece, a player that could possibly do some other those little things like shoot the ball better. That would have made a difference to me. Kevin Durant, to me, brought them down.
Tried to get Steph Curry.
Right. This is the number. They gave up a number 10 pick, 5 second-round picks. Like, I don't. It just doesn't make sense to me because, again, unless you think Kevin Durant makes you an NBA Finals contender right off the bat, I would not have made this move.
See,
you said it.
That's going to be what we have to wait and see, right?
Go through OKC, Denver. Who else?
That's the problem with
the
all
Lakers.
Of this.
I think improved a little bit with getting DeAndre Ayton. But you know what I mean? Like, there's too many good teams in the West. This move didn't put them ahead of any of them.
Well, the problem in that West, I mean, when you think about it, I mean, look at the talent that's in there. Like, you're 10 teams deep. 10 teams deep. A team that did not make the playoffs in San Antonio. You know,
right? We expect to be better.
They're gonna be better. I mean, it's no matter who you get, it doesn't guarantee you to make it to the finals. Maybe in the East it does. I mean, because you look at the two contenders, Boston and Indiana, they are not going to be contenders next year.
Bill, thanks for joining. Happy 4th to you as well. 4th of July. Stay tuned for our starting five. We got a little 4th of July theme to it, so we should have some fun with that too.
Wait, is there really?
It's American.
Did I read it wrong?
Oh, boy.
Whoopsie.
But I will say this before we move on, Ron. If it was Boston, who's your team, and it was for Jaylen Brown, would you feel better about this move?
No.
Right? That's what I'm saying. That's where
no.
I think it becomes a problem, because this isn't a move where you sit back and go, okay, I feel like the Rockets, to join the live streams whenever you're streaming, add me on Discord. Okay. Peachy points. Okay. I don't know what kind of site is, but I feel like it could be going a different direction there. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I like the Rockets team. I liked them last year. And now I look at it and I sit back and I go, I don't like them as much now. I feel like they're going to change their dynamic where they're going to get a guy that's a ball hog. And I know what you said, but that's Kevin Durant. That's why they got him. They got him to score. Yeah. So he ball dominant, changes their offense. They lose something on defense. Now they're not as exciting. And I think it drops them down further in the West.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Bill was just saying happy 4th, Danny. I don't know.
Yeah, come on, Danny. You're coming at me hard too, by the way.
Yeah, no, he's on fire today.
You're coming at me hard.
He's on fire. Be nice. Let's be nice. Play nice, gentlemen.
I didn't say anything.
I know. So, again, if you're out there live, did you like the Kevin Durant move for the Rockets? Do you think it improved them? Does it make them worse? I guess it would be one of the other questions.
Yeah, I mean, it could, or it could be, a good thing. But the player's ego has to be checked. That's the thing. It all depends if he's able to give up, being the guy. Because you could still be the guy and score points without being the guy.
Yeah, I think this is going to change. We'll see. It also depends on
who's the leader of that team when you really think about it.
That's what I was looking at the roster, and as soon as my mouse goes over there, I mean Jeff Green, who's 38, Steven Adams, Clint Capella. I mean, Jabari Smith Jr. is too young. He's 22. Amon Thompson is 22. Fred VanVleet. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They changed this dynamic to a point where now it's like they're not as young, a little older, a little slower, a little less defensive minded. I think this was a bad move. But again, we move on. Let's talk some NFL, Ron. Great NBA start to the show here. Great conversation. There was a trade made this week. Pittsburgh Steelers and the Miami Dolphins made a trade. Which team made out better? So basically, Jalen Ramsey goes to the Steelers. The Dolphins get Minkah Fitzpatrick and Jonnu Smith. Oh, boy. Danny. People are scared. I get it, but let's not. Now you're bringing the politics into it, Danny. Don't. Just happy 4th. Let's enjoy the day. All right, Ron. So who made out in this deal?
This might not be popular either. I think Pittsburgh did.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. I like Minkah Fitzpatrick. I think that was.
I do.
He's a good player, and I think he's going to do well in Miami. And he had basically similar numbers to Jalen Ramsey. I like the Jonnu Smith move. I thought getting him included in that. Now you tag him with Pat Freiermuth, DK Metcalf. All of a sudden, this offense is starting to look a little more impressive. And Aaron Rodgers has 2 tight ends now. Jonnu Smith last year, that year or two in New England, where he was absolute garbage. I mean, last year for the Dolphins, 88 receptions.
He was projected to be a very good tight end.
And look what he did with the Dolphins last year. 88 receptions, 884 yards, 10 yards of reception, 8 touchdowns.
Didn't he go to the Pro Bowl?
No, he didn't. But again, if you look at it, I mean, that's still like now you give a guy to Aaron Rodgers with Freiermuth, like that's 2 solid tight ends. You got DK on the outside. It was a good move for the Steelers.
Not for nothing, too. When you talk about defensive positions, I mean, what position is more important than a cornerback on defense? I mean, when you think about who Pittsburgh is going to have to play, especially when you look over and Cincinnati is sitting in that division, and you got to worry about that receiving core. I'm sorry. Fitzpatrick is a great player. Love him. But when you can take out one of the receivers on the other team and not have to worry about it, that is a formula to win. And look, I know they don't win playoff games in Pittsburgh. I get it. I understand. But when was the last time they had a cornerback that was as good as Ramsey?
I would say this though. Minka's not a notch below. They're
No,
very
it's not.
close.
But he's more of a safety, and they use
2
him
years,
for those slot receivers, I believe.
2 years younger
Yeah,
than Ramsey. So again, you get a little older. Both 3-time All Pros. So they're both again guys that you sit back and have done it at an elite level. This is the one dynamic that scares me. Aaron Rodgers. We already said he's a locker room killer. Jalen Ramsey is very similar in that role. Like, he was not a player when he got to Miami. It was all, peaches and cream and everything was nice. And
Right.
then all of a sudden he turned. And think about it. Jalen Ramsey did the same thing in Jacksonville. He wanted out of the Rams too, but trying to cut all this money. But that's where I start to question. Now you got 2 players in Pittsburgh, and I get it. Mike Tomlin, a very good coach, strong, right? We talk about it every year. It's over 500. This might be his toughest challenge, though. You've got 2 players now that are going to cause some headaches in that locker room. These are not easy guys to contend with. I think that's the only reason why Miami too was so quick to get rid of him.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wonder what's going through the minds of them at Miami, because you got rid of Ramsey and you have Josh Allen in that division. All I'm saying is, I don't know, if that's an improvement for their defense or not. You have to take a look at it, early. But
Fitzpatrick's a very good player. I think the Jonnu Smith signing as well was what put Pittsburgh over, because I think they were apples for apples if you really look at it. I mean,
yeah.
Jalen Ramsey had 2 interceptions last season. Minka Fitzpatrick had 1, but Minka Fitzpatrick also had 36 more combined tackles. So it's a wash. It's going to be interesting though. It definitely. I wish they did a what's the HBO show? Where
Hard
they do
Knocks?
Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks. I wish they had done it for Pittsburgh this year, because I'd love to see
Who is it?
I don't even know. I don't think it was anybody good this year. I don't know.
Is it ever?
I know it's not New England. Talk about my Cowboys, guys. What would you want to talk about with the Cowboys, Danny? I don't know. I think they got to figure out this Micah Parsons thing, because you better pay him before TJ Watts gets paid. Because TJ Watt, they're talking about trades, and then he's going to sign a bigger contract, and that's going to just increase Micah Parsons. We don't need Jalen Ramsey. No, you don't need Jalen Ramsey. I think you got solid corners. Well, you got Diggs if he's healthy. They got good corners. All right, Ron, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna 4th of July this up with our starting 5.
Yeah, we're gonna have a problem with this one.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think we're pretty similar. So we're talking American icons, like Parsons going to go to the command. Yeah, maybe that would that'd be an interesting move.
There's no way they trade him to the Commanders.
The
not going to happen.
It's America's birthday. We said let's have some fun with some American icons. It could be sports. It may not be sports. We're just going to have some fun with it, Ron. You are first.
I apparently did not understand this.
Okay.
Because I didn't know which way to go, so I did 3 top 5s.
Okay.
All right. Now,
Go ahead.
Let me run through the thoughts.
Okay.
Because you put an example, Joey Chestnut and Evil Knievel, and I'm like, if anybody has Joey Chestnut on their top 5 in any category other than hot dog eating, you should be shunned from society.
Okay.
So that confused me because I'm like, are you talking, sports figures that aren't?
I didn't want the average. I mean, you could go Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, right? Like I wanted these odd, different type of America. You think America?
Okay, so this is what I did, Eric. I have a top 5 for sports figures, fictional sports figures.
All right, you could do that one, and I
also have non-athlete sports figures.
You could do that one too. Whatever makes you
happy.
happy.
And then I also have athlete sports figures.
No. It's going to happen around. He's annoying. He may go. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys. I mean, be a bad move on their part, but you never know, Danny. Could happen. All right, you are first this week, so your honorable mentions on whichever list you're deciding to go with. Non-athletes. Go with the non-athlete ones.
Go with the non-athletes. Okay, but I'm still going to give you those other ones.
All right.
All right, so my non-athletes, my honorable mentions would be Bob Uecker.
Yeah, no, I see it.
Dick Vitale.
Okay.
Bill Belichick.
Okay.
Honorable mention, Bill Belichick. And Bob Costas.
Okay. All right.
I don't know why. I just thought of him.
I had one honorable mention on mine. Eric Esch. Who's Eric Esch? Butterbean. Butterbean. I mean, he was like you were like the most out of shape. We could probably our bodies look better than his, Ron. And that man was fighting in heavyweight fights and wore the American trunks.
I think all 3 on my list are going to be better than yours.
No, that's not right. That is horrible. That is horrible. All right, let's go with number 5 on yours. Go ahead.
Because Butterbean made your list, and there's no way. All right, so again, these are my non-athletes top 5.
All right.
Howard Cosell.
Okay.
This is Howard Cosell.
I know who it was. I know who it is. All right. At number 5, I guess I'm shunned from society because Joey Chestnut, 17-time Nathan's hot dog winner. Guess who won it this year? Ron retook his title. Every year you think about that Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
No, I don't think about it at all.
And this guy.
Not a sport.
It's not a sport. He's an American icon. He's an American icon.
It's stupid.
He's an American icon. People know
stupid.
Joey Chestnut because of what he does on the 4th of July.
The other guy that used to win all the time.
Kobayashi knocked him out. So that's who I had at number 5. Who do you have at number 4?
I have John Madden. Even though he was an athlete, but it's post-athlete.
See, we could have done the sportscasters would have.
We could have.
That makes more sense for your list. All right, at number 4 for me.
Hey, we could be on that list because we did some boxing.
We did, and some basketball.
Yes.
At number 4 for me, Evil Knievel. That man dominated. He wore the cape, the American cape. Dominated the stunt market for years.
I think his win percentage was only like 20%.
The man broke more bones than he actually did jumps. But guess what? We all know Evil Knievel. And if you say Evil Knievel, like you do something stupid, you'd be like, oh, I just did an Evil Knievel. Like that man's an icon. Lives on. Evil Knievel. Even though he passed away in 2007, believe it or not.
Yes. Still got Robbie?
You know what the funny thing is? All his injury, he died of diabetes.
Yeah, go figure, huh?
Like you think about all the things that happened to him. And that's what ultimately what killed him. That's pretty crazy to think about. All right, who do you have at number 3, Ron? Number 3.
Number 3, I have Al Michaels, and it is 100% for that call. Do you believe in miracles? All because of that. Love that. Oh my God. That was one of the best days on the planet. And it was enjoyable watching that. And Al Michaels did a great job calling that game.
Good job. All right. Number 3 for me, Ron. It wasn't actually a player, it was a team. It's a team. The Harlem Globetrotters. If you talk America, red, white, and blue shorts. Red, white, and blue shorts, right? Harlem Globetrotters. At one point, Ron, 8,829 game winning streak. They've won 75 championships. Granted, they're all fixed. But guess what? They are an American icon. The Harlem Globetrotters, I had at number 3.
That's a pretty good one. I forgot about them. They should have been on my favorite, athletes top 5.
Okay. So who do you have at number 2?
Number 2, I have the former voice of the Bruins, Fred Cusick. Loved, when I first started watching hockey, it was Fred Cusick doing the play-by-play. He was magnificent. Loved watching the Bruins, and I loved listening to him. Right. My favorite out of all these years.
I am going at number 2 with I am a real American. Hulk Hogan, and what?
Why did I know? I knew you were gonna go there when Harlem Globetrotters was number 3 for you. I knew the next one was gonna be
the Hulkster, the American. What he made wrestling become. It's still to this day Hulk Hogan considered one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
Thunder Lips. He was Thunder Lips.
Sabrina Williams. He was. Mary, thanks for joining as well. Hi to you as well, Mary. Do you have an American icon, Mary, that you would like? I agree with you. If we were doing athletes, absolutely. Serena Williams, Danny, very good one. LeBron, I would put Jordan ahead of LeBron. That's just a debate we could have some other time. All right, Ron. So who's your number 1? I would say sports.
My number 1 non-athlete sports figure.
Yeah.
And I'll be bumbling all the way. Chris Berman.
No, very good.
Come on. He was awesome. He was the guy that got Sports Center to be where it is.
Yeah,
really.
100%.
I don't know why they think that, what is his, Van, whatever his name is, the guy that they tout to be the guy for Sports Center now.
Scott Van Pelt.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not Berman. Nobody's
terrible.
Berman. Terrible. At number 1 for me, and I can't. You have him right there in your corner next to you, Rocky Balboa, the Rocky 4, and we had the Cold War happening, the Russian, and
if he dies. He dies,
right? Like you were like this guy.
Throw in the towel.
You were the towel, right? And you think about when Apollo came in, right, and he was doing the whole James Brown singing it. George Strait, the best country. All right, that's an icon. There we go. But I went with Rocky, USA versus the world, baby. He went Rocky Balboa to me, the greatest American icon.
All right, this is going to take a while, Eric. I'm going to read you my other lists. Going to read the lists.
Go ahead.
So the fictional characters, and there's a lot of them. There's Apollo Creed, there's Bobby Boucher, Roy Hobbs, and Daniel LaRusso. Right?
Okay. Karate
But
Kid.
number 5 would be Mr. Miyagi. Oh my God! I still do that to this
day. Right? When you got a pain,
if somebody says, "Oh my God, my neck hurts," I do that.
Right, every time. And then I always say, "Show me, paint the fence. Show me wax the car." Yes.
Exactly. Yes. Right. So if you see somebody painting, that's the first thing you think of, right?
Show me paint the fence.
see somebody washing their car,
Right.
you walk by,
Wax
and
on,
it's like,
wax off.
wax on, wax off.
So, right? Every time.
Every time. Number 4, Harry Doyle. This guy on this list, too. Harry Doyle from Major League. I mean, come on, he was great.
Just a bit outside. Still one of the. I say that all the time. Still too. I loved it.
Right.
That was a good
Exactly.
one.
And you can't have Harry Doyle if at number 3 you don't have Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn.
Oh, without a doubt. Wild
Right?
Thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's great. It's one of the best baseball movies.
Agreed. Good one.
Number 2, I have Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. My
without a
favorite
doubt.
comedy of all time. 2 coming out this month,
Yes.
July 25th on Netflix. Watching it. So don't bother me on July 25th. I hope
It's a Friday.
That it's not a Friday.
Oh boy.
Hey, Rossi, we got a problem. But number 1, like you said on your list, Rocky, the Italian Stallion Balboa. Number 1 on that list.
You know. Yeah. Oh, hold on though. I gotta throw an honorable mention in there. Frank Drebin, when he was doing the umpiring and right, you gotta include him in that. Like, come on.
That was funny.
When he would be like, strike, and the crowd went crazy. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he starts doing his dance.
Yeah, right. You gotta put him in there.
That's a good one. That is a good one. All right. So my favorite actual athletes
of all time.
You know, it's like, for the most part, I don't have a lot of those big time players, right? For the most part, and I had a very tough time with this. And my honorable mentions would have been Kevin Garnett, Fred Lynn, Steve Yzerman, Teddy Bruschi, and yes, David Ortiz would have been the bubble guy. So my number 5 would be Tom Brady. Number 5.
Wow.
Number 5.
Okay.
He is clearly, the best football player, right? Number 4, I have Larry Bird. Larry the Legend. Now, number 4 and 5, super talented, right? Can't say, that they're that big for the rest of the way. Number 3, Dwight Evans. Great player. But
Had a Tom Brady and Larry Bird.
Yeah, no, I like them. They're my favorite players.
Okay.
I like them as players.
So just your favorite players overall.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Not based on that.
Talent wise, no, hell no.
Okay,
right?
that makes more sense to me. Okay.
Number 2, I do have Patrice Bergeron, who is talented, but still not Larry or Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Or not even Kevin Garnett and Steve Yzerman. But number 2, nonetheless. But my number 1, Happy Gilmore is number 1 as well. Terry O'Reilly, my favorite sports figure.
Interesting. Okay.
That is my list. So I'm not drawn to those big stars most of the time. I'm drawn to those players that work.
Yeah. No, listen, I could see it. Believe it or not, Tom Brady's not my favorite Patriot of all time. It's Ty Law. I like.
Yeah, I was going to put him in too. I was like, I got to find a place for Ty Law.
Love Ty.
Like
even in the basketball world, like you said, I would almost I love Bird. I don't know. I may have put Paul Pierce ahead of him. I loved that team of, they stunk for so long, but he was the one guy you could always root for. So it's interesting.
It's all relative, right? You get drawn to a certain player when you first watch. And in my case, when I started watching was when I was little. But the one name that I would always remember was Terry O'Reilly. And then I grew up watching the Bruins, becoming a fan, and he He was polarizing.
Yeah.
Like, he led the team 1 year in scoring, but that's because like half the team was injured all year.
Yeah. No, listen. Favorite Yankee of all time, you would think Derek Jeter. It's Don Mattingly, who never won anything. Right? Like
Right.
he didn't win. I just liked Mattingly. I liked that style. I like those guys that just work. You know, and I agree with you there. So I could see it. That's not a bad
I
idea.
like Pedroia as well, you know?
Yeah. All right, Ron, let's continue with this phenomenal show right now. And let's talk some NBA. The New York Knicks finally hired a coach, Mike Brown. Do you think it's an upgrade? Or is it much of an upgrade? Did this
He
move,
thinks it's an upgrade. He's
he thumbs up in it. But, you know, I'm going to give you the numbers.
Go ahead.
Mike Brown has coached in 758 games. He's 454 and 304. So 599 win percentage.
Good.
90 games in the postseason, 50 and 40 of 55 points, 55-6 win percentage. Tom Thibodeau, 998 games. So he's coached in about 140 more games. 578 and 420, 579. So about 20.020% less. 103 postseason games, 48 and 55, a 46-6 win percentage. Both won Coach of the Year twice. Yeah. Like I don't. For all this discussion, the Knicks were trying to get all these different coaches. This is what they ended up with, and I'm not, disparaging what Mike Brown's done, and he's a good coach.
He's
so is
Tom
Thibodeau.
Yes. Look, I have a whole problem with their process of what they're thinking. Okay. You don't make playoffs very often.
Which you finally did, right? You finally went to the Eastern Conference Finals after 20 years.
Right. But the point of you beat the Boston Celtics, the previous champion, go to those conference finals. I don't know about, what they expect. But there isn't a person on the planet that expected them to go to the conference finals. Not one person. And I don't care what anybody says. You can hope that they do it as a fan, but nobody expected that. No one. So they exceeded all expectations of a team. You have a winning team. You got a conference finals team. Now, we all know that with those two injuries to Indiana and Boston Celtics stars, that those two teams were not going to contend. You only had to worry about Cleveland Cavaliers. So why would you fire a coach that got you to the conference finals in lieu of another coach that now the team isn't built around that style?
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
You have a team that was built under Thibodeau's style of play, and now you're going to have to change it, and this team cannot meet expectations of what they expect now because they're just not built that way.
Mike Brown, very good assistant coach on the teams that did win. The Golden State, right? You think about their offense. Knicks don't have that. The last team he was with was Sacramento. Running gun, fast, not the New York Knicks. The GM built the New York Knicks. So if the GM decides to make this hire, would you not think it should be a guy that kind of fits the style of players you have? I think the Knicks are going to trade or get rid of some of these players, and that's what they've talked about, which, again, you got a team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals. You're a piece or two away from
really one piece, really.
Right. And think about it. It's another scorer or shooter. They have good players. What are you thinking? I hate it. Makes it sound like we think Mike Brown's a bad coach. He's not. he's not a difference maker. He doesn't put them over the top. All he does is kind of keep you in the same bay that you were in. Is you're good enough to get to the postseason. Maybe you get lucky in the postseason like you did last year and win a series or two. But that's what you had with Tom Thibodeau. So if you were going to make a drastic change, then you should have changed it completely.
Yeah, I agree. And they played Orlando, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Detroit.
Oh, Detroit. It was Detroit. So
who almost beat him.
Right. So they should have lost that series, and they should have lost the Celtics series. And I would think that maybe Thibodeau actually might have got him past that. Now, you don't have those two teams. You're going to play a style that you don't know. And mark my words, they are not going to be one of the top 4 teams in the East. They're not going to be there. They're going to be, somewhere down below and playing mediocre basketball because they're not in the correct style. And you're going to see teams like Orlando, who just picked up Bane. That's going to help them. You don't think Orlando's going to make a run?
Orlando, Detroit is shown that they belong.
Exactly.
So those teams that like everybody's like, oh, Boston, Tatum's out. Now Halliburton, right? Miles Turner, that move to Milwaukee, right? The Bucks probably got a little better now.
If the Bucks keep Giannis, I put the Milwaukee Bucks number 2. Possibly even 1. Who knows?
Yeah, it's crazy.
If you get a motivated Giannis,
unreal.
You are falling just by making this coaching change. Mm-hmm. It's just pure numbers and pure style. And it's not going to work the same.
I agree, Ron. I agree. All right. Let's talk some Major League Baseball, Ron. Here's a story, huh? Cleveland Guardians pitcher Luis Ortiz has been placed on leave for gambling allegations. Your thoughts on Major League Baseball's decision here? Not sure if you knew how this came about. On June 15th,
the first pitch thing.
Yeah, on June 15th against Seattle, and also on June 27th against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Very peculiar. They must have proof that somebody he knows made wages.
Well, that's the thing now they're saying is those bets went up like significantly in like Ohio, New York, New Jersey, all picked up on this. And he basically threw these 2 pitches like nowhere near the plate to make sure that he threw a ball. This is a crazy story. Now, here's something. He's 26 years old.
Yeah.
If he finds out, or if this all comes to light and he's actually guilty of it, he's banned for life. At 26, you've decided for whatever these wages were, and I'm guaranteeing you it wasn't millions because you can make millions in the major leagues, even as a not so good pitcher.
Right.
To throw it away, and no pun intended, to throw it away, blows my mind. But
balls.
Right, he does. Yeah, two of them. He had 2 balls. Yes, Ron, very good call on that one. But you think about what goes through a player's mind at that age to say this is something I want to do that might ruin my entire career.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Why you do that. Especially considering, I mean, what are you making? At least $750,000 a year. I don't know what his salary.
More than that at this point, right? Well, it's 2 years in. I'll look it up while you're talking.
So when you think of even minimum wage in baseball, you're still a pretty rich guy. And for you to
700, very good, 782,600.
How about that one, huh? I was off by 30,000. So, I mean, to do this, it's stupidity. It just goes to show you how we talk about these people that do stuff wrong, when you've got it made. And there's always going to be that person that thinks that it doesn't matter because I'm going to get away with it because I'm a baseball player. But you know what? That's not how it works. Especially if you're not a star. Now, if you were, say, I don't know, any top player, say Mike Trout, right? If you're a Mike Trout, no, you're probably not going to get in trouble because your name dictates that they'll sweep it under the rug. You are not Mike Trout.
Shohei Ohtani, no
Right.
knowledge.
You are not Shohei. You're not Mike Trout. You're not even, the starting second baseman for Cleveland.
He's 4-9 as a pitcher, 4.36 ERA. He's not good. And I'm not saying, but listen, pitchers get picked up all the time and they just keep shuffling. They'll go from team to team every year because there's some promise. It just, the weird part about this run, and let me ask you if you have an opinion on this, because I kind of have an opinion. These prop bets really shouldn't even be a thing. I mean, I get it. Yeah, but like the Super Bowl, you want to prop bet on the length of the national anthem or what, like stupid things like that. But when you're talking about first pitches or you know what I mean, first at bat or something where the player can actually control what happens.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Unless it's like some random thing where you know what I mean. First pitch gets hit to second base. Okay. I mean, there's a good shot that may not happen.
Right.
This is
unless you're like a Tony Gwynn or Wade Boggs.
But you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to tell me throw a ball on the first, like I know I can control that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Actually, would have been better.
It's not rocket science, right?
Like, make them so it has to be a strike. They throw their first pitch as a strike because most pitchers can't do that, especially this guy. That would have been a bigger challenge.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't like this whole betting thing. I think when they involve gambling as sponsors, especially to sports teams or leagues, it's a big mistake because of the corruption that follows, and we're seeing it, especially in baseball. It has been really relevant.
As you read this, there was an umpire now that got fired. Like these things are getting out of control.
Referee, I think, got fired in the NHL.
Like it's just it's crazy to think about.
Trying to fix that Edmonton Dallas series and failing.
It's crazy. So this kid, lifetime ban possibly. We'll keep an eye on this story to see. 26 years old. What a crazy way to end your career. That's absolutely shit. These kids that get injuries and wish they could play, and this kid throwing it away for probably a couple thousand. You know what I mean? Like, seriously.
All it is. That is all it is.
All right, Ron, let's have some fun with our split decisions. Our split decision segment, basically, we ask each other two more likely questions, and we got to make a decision. You are first this week, Ron. So,
well, we just talked baseball.
Baseball.
So, who would you more likely want to be inserted into the Yankees rotation in their prime? Former Yankee pitchers that are no longer there.
Okay.
David Wells, Phil Niekro, or Nathan Eovaldi.
Nathan, are you serious? He's Eovaldi in there?
These are your choices. Because they're all better than,
honestly, I don't.
You guys aren't even in first place anymore.
No, we're not.
Now you know why I'm doing this.
I Phil Niekro, I didn't see enough of. David Wells, he was always that. I liked him. So I would say I'd like to see Wells in there. And
Not Nathan Eovaldi, who's currently pitching in Texas.
No.
Who won what, 2 World Series?
No.
Wow.
David Wells, perfect game. New York Yankees. Never forget it.
I think they're all really good pitchers.
Yeah, I don't. I'm just not an Eovaldi. Like he's a good pitcher. He really is. But I wouldn't be like, wow, okay, wow.
Okay, no.
All right.
He pitches well against the Yankees, though.
Everybody seems to be doing everything well against the Yankees right now. All right, Ron.
See, I think I just did this one just for the pure pain.
That's okay. What place is the Red Sox in right now? Okay.
They're not in last place, so they've exceeded expectations.
What's more likely, the Red Sox get out of last or the Yankees finish in second? I mean, at least I'll take that. We'll finish in second. All right, Ron.
Expectations, I don't.
Your first split decision. Which tight end is more likely to have more receptions this season? Darren Waller, who came out of retirement and now is with the Dolphins, or Jonnu Smith, who just got traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers? So Darren Waller replaces Jonnu Smith in Miami. Jonnu Smith in Pittsburgh, but has
I'm going to say Waller.
Right? You think, and it's crazy to think about, right? Because I think Vermouth's going to take some.
I'm just going by the impression that I got, the hype that came with Jonnu Smith, and could not live up to it in New England. And then he goes to, Miami, has a wonderful, wonderful time there. And now he's going to be going to, play with Aaron Rodgers, and it's supposed to be good. I don't think it's going to be.
All right.
I think it's going to be. So I'll take Waller.
All right. Your second split decision, Ron.
Okay. This is part A and B.
Okay. Oof. Tufa,
yeah. All right. Who is more likely to get 20 goals this season?
Okay.
Tanner Jeannot, who had 7 in 67 games last year.
Is this the Bruins, like a Bruins thing? Who's
Victor Arvidsson, who had 15 goals in 67 games. Or Michael Eyssimont, who had 9 goals in 77 games last year. Who was more likely to get to 20?
Is none of them
big
an
signings
option
for the Bruins?
Is none of them an option? All right, can you give me this age of each?
No.
And national, I need that age.
Does that even matter?
Age and nationality. I need. I didn't even give me the 3 names again. Give me the 3 names again.
Tanner Jeannot.
Okay.
Victor Arvidsson. And Michael Eyssimont.
I'm going Tanner Jeannot because don't you know he's going to score 20 goals? I like it. It's got a better ring to it. So that's what I'm going with. Jeannot. I know Jeannot.
Okay.
All right.
So that's who you pick. Who had 7 goals last season?
Yeah, but it revitalized in Boston.
This is the offense that Don Sweeney promised us.
The Boston Bruins are going to be amazing.
That's the offense.
Get ready, buddy. All right, Ron.
All right. No, wait. Part 2.
Oh, part 2. That was a B. That's right. Sorry.
Part 2. Who is more likely to score more goals? Brock Bosner or all 3 of those guys?
I'm going with that over all 3.
You go with all 3.
What's
last year, all those guys scored 31.
What did Bosner?
Bosner scored 25.
I got a shot here. That's pretty bad. That's good.
This is disgusting.
It is. It's pretty bad. All right, Ron.
And I'm going to blow up in this next segment. You know it.
Is it more likely that Shohei Ohtani finishes the season with an ERA under 3 or an ERA over 3? currently at 2.25 for an ERA.
Under.
He really hasn't pitched though. I think he's only pitched like 15 innings. Like they're like kind of giving him like 2-3 inning game. That's it so far. They're not letting him pitch a full game.
So that's even more reason why he's not going to give up runs. He's only going once through the rotation.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. That was our split decision segment. Hope you enjoyed it. If you ever join in us live and want to give us a split decision, please put it in the
Got a
chat.
lot of views on Kick today.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Yeah. Guess who just added Kick to his? So maybe that's why. So we're double whammy in it. We're 2 for it.
Scott Curley. Thank you.
All right.
Say, Curly.
Oh, boy. All right, let's talk some NHL. Brad Marchand has
boy.
re-signed with the defending Stanley Cup champions, Florida Panthers. Why do you think he didn't come back to Boston, Ron?
Because he looked to see what they were doing, and he saw nothing. You know, I don't know if Arvidsson was supposed to be the hook for Brad Marchand to come back. But it certainly didn't do anything.
So
He's smart. That's why.
6 years, 32 million, 6.1 annually. He's 37 though.
Yeah,
So
he's gonna be
basically 43. Don't think he makes it through this whole contract. I mean,
No.
that's just my opinion. But this seemed to me like there was more, and I heard this the other day on a sports radio station, and it really started to dawn on me that maybe things weren't as good as we thought they were in Boston. Maybe there was some issues with him and Pasternak, because when he won it, if you think about it, a lot of times when you're that close and that tight, 15 years with the organization, you make friends. None of them like put it on X, put it on Face, anywhere that they congratulated Brad Marchand for winning. It's almost like they were like, you know, we don't care about Brad Marchand. And I think he didn't have a spot to come back to in Boston. That's what I think ultimately happened. I don't think they wanted him here in Boston.
You hit on a couple of things. And if there's one thing I know about Brad Marchand, is that he works every moment of the game.
I'm not denying that. I think it's a locker room thing. I think it was more of
that's
the
what I'm
personalities.
talking about. He works so hard, and he may have said something to Pasternak, and it might have caused a rift between the two. Like, you got to work harder. You got to give a full effort, whatever it may be. I'm just speculating. I'm not trying to say that's what happened.
Yeah.
You know, because I think Pasternak works hard, but sometimes he does some stupid things. But at the same point, so does Marchand. But he works hard, and I'll tell you, watching those Stanley Cup playoffs this year, watching him in that uniform, which was appalling, but I felt
motivated?
That he was their best player.
Oh, yeah. Motivated. So look at it, right? 10 regular season games, right? He was coming back from the injury. They kind of, eased him back into the regular season. 2 goals, 2 assists. It was a +1 on 39 shots. 10 games in the postseason, 10 goals, 10 assists, a +17 on 47 shots. Like, he was one of their best players. Then they go out, they re-sign Aaron Ekblad and Sam Bennett, and you keep this. You brought the band back together to make a run. They are extremely dangerous to three-peat.
Yeah. Yeah. And Pat Riley's going to make a fortune off of him.
They can't even use it. He's copyrighted. They have to
right. So that's why he's going to make a fortune off of it.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know all the facts, right? Nobody's ever going to know all the facts, but they certainly weren't going to pay him $6 million a year. That's not what would have happened. They didn't do it with Bergeron. Bergeron decided to stay there because he wanted to. And no matter how much Brad Marchand did, he can't live up to Patrice Bergeron's reputation, right? You can't do it. It's impossible. And I love Brad Marchand. I know he does some difficult things, throughout his career, but I look at him today. He is not the same player he used to be. And he is super talented, one of the best left wingers in the league. Right?
But what about this?
This the problem.
Sometimes change of scenery does change your mentality.
Yeah.
And you saw that in the postseason. He wanted to get back so bad.
Yeah.
To a cup. If they get that player consistently, Ron, I think you're gonna. You know what I mean? This is great for the Panthers.
That's how he was in Boston every game. He went out there and worked his butt off. Yes, he made some bad decisions and stuff, but you know what? You take that if he's going to give that effort like he always does, and he's a great player. I think an easy Hall of Famer. I think he's been one of the best all time in Boston.
Especially point
wise.
Right, for a Hall of Fame, the second cup helps him. And I don't think you're going to see this unless, barring injuries, this team's loaded.
It's going to go. Right? It's probably going to go back.
Yeah. So again, I think that bodes well for him in his Hall of Fame career. And it obviously found a spot that he's wanted, though. Those guys, I think, put their arms around him and said, "Listen, whatever happened in Boston, good or bad, they loved his energy. He sparked those runs.
And those players know it. And they respect him. Like I can't fathom how awful it is as a Bruin fan to see this, but I'm so happy for him because he deserves it. He really does deserve it. And, when you take a look and you see what the Bruins are doing, and you're like, okay, they made a trade for Arvidsson. Really? Really? That is the savior? Arvidsson? Like, they're not signing anybody. Okay, when you sign Kuraly, come back to Boston, right? You already have the fourth line center in Beecher, who is faster and does have an upside. I don't know if it'll ever get there, but at least he has an upside. He's faster. He can take faceoffs. He's really good at taking faceoffs. Beecher is stellar at that, and I think he learned that from Bergeron. He must have taught him because he's incredible taking faceoffs. But when you already have the player, why are you signing another one that does the same job? And the problem I'm having, Eric, they went out and they got all these guys, and I'm going to read them off. Arvidsson, Middlestat, Kuraly, Kastelik, Jeannot, Pitlick, Esimont. All you're doing is bringing in the same crap that you let go during the offseason, and you're blocking all of these young players from getting a spot. Because you got to play those guys because you're paying them that.
Well, I will say
now
this
we're not going to see Patra. We're not going to see Merkulov or Lysell or Minton or the new guy that Pasternak recruited. I'm getting so annoyed. We're not going to see those guys because you have Middlestat and Jeannot, and Kuraly's going to be your third-line center. How is that an upgrade from Coyle? You tell me how. How is this an upgrade? This is worse than what we put on the ice last season.
But this is where I say that at some point, Ron, you got to look at Don Sweeney and Cam Neely, and they can't run this team anymore because all they keep doing is rehashing some of these older guys, these players that
do the same mistake again.
Former Bruins had something in the Bruins organization. Like, that's all they keep doing. And like, at some point, you see what happens when you put talent around. You put some talent around Pasternak. You put some talent around a Brad Marchand.
He doesn't need it.
But listen, think about it. Brad Marchand went to a team that had a ton of talent. What happens? You win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
You're asking Pasternak, to your credit, Ron,
Very
you're right. He doesn't need other guys to get 100 points per season. He needs other guys to be able to take some of the pressure off him.
Exactly.
And Boston's
you
not
need a second
doing
line.
that. They're not doing that. All they're looking at is, how do I save enough money? They're banking on the fact that Swayman just had an off year last year. As soon as if Swayman is what we think he is, last season is the same. I don't care what you put on the ice. Those guys aren't going to be able to carry. You need Swayman to be
a god.
Patrick Wow, like one of these top.
I don't even think that would help, Eric.
Yeah.
I look at it this way. Pavel Zacha with Geeky and Pasternak were fantastic last year, right? They were fantastic. You are trying to force Lindholm to play with Pasta and Geeky just because you don't want it to look bad for the team that you signed a guy that didn't live up to expectations. So now you're going to force that line together, and now Pavel Zacha is going to be left with Middlestat and Arvidsson. How the hell is he supposed to have a good year? It can't happen. That line is going to score 20 goals at best. At best. And again, I don't understand why you do these things. There's no reason to sign a guy like Corrali, who was fantastic as a fourth-line center in Boston. Fantastic. But when you already got a fourth-line center, why are you bringing his butt back? It's so frustrating. It is just like the Red Sox front office.
Yeah.
Lip service. They tell you, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and they do nothing. Nothing.
Agreed. All right, Ron. Well, congrats.
Wow, my blood pressure is sky high right now.
Let's move into our pick and roll.
It's time for pick and roll.
We're going to continue this NHL theme. Here's some number 27s in NHL past. Ron Hextall, Alex Kavalov, Reggie Leach, Frank Malovich, Scott Niedermayer, and Jeremy Roenick. We're going to rank them from 6 to 1. You are first this week, my friend. Your list.
Okay, so this is actually a pretty good list. This is a good list. Number 5, I actually have Ron Hextall, even though I think goaltending is more important. 296 wins, 214 losses, 69 ties, 2.98 goals against average, an .895 save percentage, and that's probably fitting because he hasn't won a Stanley Cup. Never won a Stanley Cup. I know through experience watching this guy play, I think he's probably an average goaltender. Had a couple of good years, but average goaltender. Number 4, Reggie Leach, another former Flyer, 934 games played, and I would never, ever, ever end my career knowing I had 666 points.
Right, crazy.
Never. I would play until I got another point and then retire. There's no way I end up 666. There's no way. It's just not happening. I'll take one away. I don't care what you do. Don't make me have 666. 127 plus minus 58 game winners. He won a Stanley Cup, 1 All-Star, and 1 Conn Smythe Trophy. Reggie Leach. Very, very great Philadelphia Flyer. Number 4, and this gets me upset as well. Wait, did I say number 4? Number 3.
Yeah, you're on
number
4.
3.
You're on 4.
Yeah, Reggie Leach was 4. Number 3 is Jeremy Roenick. Now, I have always wondered why the Bruins never signed this kid out of Boston, Massachusetts, by the way. He's a native from Boston, never went after him. All those years that he was free agent, available for trades, never tried to get him. Don't understand it. What a great player he is. 1,363 games, so he was durable. 513 goals. 703 assists, I think that is. I can't read my writing.
You are correct.
And 1,216 points. I mean, 153 plus minus. 153. 92 game-winning goals. This guy wins games. Except Stanley Cup, he hasn't won. It's the only place where he can't win a game. But he is a Hall of Famer. He has no accolades, but I have him yet at number 3 because his consistency is there. He's a great player. He always shows up. He works hard, and he scores goals. That's what more could you want, right?
You must have missed somebody.
But 5 is Ron Hextall. 4 is Reggie Leach. 3 is Jeremy Roenick. I got 2 left.
Kovalov.
Oh, I did miss somebody. Who? Alexei Kovalov?
Alex Kovalov.
All right. Knowing him, he played for the Rangers. I would actually put him. I'd probably put him number 5 or 6. I'd have to look at his numbers to see if they matched up.
I had him at 5, so all right.
Okay. So yeah.
Okay,
just by going by who the player is.
You got
all right,
2 left.
Okay, so Scott Niedermayer, number 2. I love his numbers. His numbers are great, and he's a defenseman. 1,263 games, 172 goals, 568 assists, a plus 167, 39 game winners. Not bad for a defenseman. 4-time Stanley Cup. Winning with New Jersey and, of course, out west. I mean, for him to win one there, what was it, the Sharks? Oh, no, Ducks, rather. Sorry, Ducks. Anaheim Ducks, he was why they won. 4-time All-Star, 1-time Norris Trophy, 1-time Conn Smythe, and a Hall of Famer. He was a great defenseman. I probably have him, I don't know, top 10 to 20 somewhere in there, which doesn't sound like great, but when you have guys like, Bork, Lidstrom, or Coffey and all those guys, 10 to 20 is not so bad in history. But number 1, to me, it wasn't close. Frank Mahovlich, 1,181 games, 533 goals, 570 assists, almost a point a game. His plus minus was 266, and he had 82 game-winning goals, 6-time Stanley Cup winner. That's the hardware you need, right? Yeah. He's got a lot of them.
Yes, sir.
9-time All-Star, Calder Trophy winner. This guy did it from day one.
No, listen.
Looking like Bela Lugosi over here.
Yeah, right. A little different. I had Roenick at 6, and it's only because I can't believe he wasn't even an All-Star once.
I know. I don't.
That's insane to me because I know he was a great player.
But I'll tell you why he wasn't. He played center.
Yeah, your Gretzky and all them guys. Yeah.
Lemieux, Yzerman, Messier, Gretzky. Yeah. There's a whole pile of them.
You would still think at some point he would have cracked at least one of them. He didn't. And he had no accolades great numbers.
The numbers are there.
The numbers are there. I went Kovalov at number 5. You said it, plus minus. I hate guys that are negative. He was a negative 31 for his career. So I put him. Yeah, which moved Hextall to 4 for me. Because again, average goalie, I agree with you, 298, 895. We said it. Anybody that's not over 90, and he's close, but he's not there. So average. He did win a Vezina, which again, at one point he was the best goalie in the league.
Right.
Which believe it or not, moved Reggie Leach to 3 for me.
I can see that.
As crazy as it sounded, but the plus 127, 58 game winners. He did win a cup. Conn Smythe, right? Best in the postseason. Yeah. So when he got there, he did.
Oh, absolutely. He knew what to do. Yeah.
Niedermeyer, I agree too. Phenomenal numbers, 4 cups. You're like, right? And as a defenseman, right? 740 points, a plus 167.
Yeah, I think 1 and 2 were far and away better than everybody else.
Yeah. And then Mahavlich, again, plus 266 runs, 6 cups. Holy cow, 9-time All-Star. A man just had every accolade imaginable. Won a Calder as well. So, listen, this was fun though. I liked seeing some of these guys, something a little different.
Yeah, I knew you were going to have Roenick very high because there's no accolades there.
And I get what you're saying. It's like, but you know what I mean? At the same time, you still think you could have cracked 1 or 2.
You would think that, but those guys,
injuries, something.
Those guys didn't get hurt. You still had Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg. There were a lot of great
But
centers.
That's what I'm saying. So then you really think about it. How good was he if you could never surpass some of them guys?
Well, he got the 513 goals, so that had to be pretty good.
He was good. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I was actually surprised.
No, you're not.
All right, Ron, before we get into our predictions, you want to go through the Hall of Fame real quick? We have our Hall of Fame voting that is currently going
on. To do a new one today, I think.
We were. We'll go one more week. Yeah, one more week to cast your votes to help us induct our next player into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. And those players are from the NBA, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wes Unseld, Bob McAdoo, and Willis Reed. You go to the Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page on Facebook, cast your vote, help get one of these guys inducted into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame, as well as for soccer. The football, as known around the world, Ronaldo, Zidane, Paolo Maldini, Roberto Carlos, and Luis Figaro. Let's get one of them inducted into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. Just join the Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page on Facebook today. Cast your vote. We look forward to inducting them next week. Ron. And we will have some new voting at that point.
Absolutely.
All right, Ron. It is time for predictions. Solid week. Went 4-3. You went 5-2. We did have a NASCAR winner, James, last week. Chase Elliott. Yep. So you went 5-3. We're still creeping over 50%. Both of us could possibly have 100 losses, though, which is crazy. This has been our worst season of this so far. But if you'd like,
we're generally 55, 56%. I think.
If you'd like to get your name added to the chart or continue to add to your win-loss total, please let us know who you pick during the prediction segment here. We start off with Major League Baseball, Ron. Tonight, fireworks in LA. We got the Houston Astros at the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Should be a good series, but I'm going to take LA at home.
Yeah, I agreed with you. I went LA at home. I think Houston's playing some really good baseball.
They are.
Surprisingly, they continue to amaze. All right. Also, a Major League Baseball this Monday series between the Philadelphia Phillies and the San Francisco Giants. It's in San Francisco. Who do you have? Oh, actually, it's my pick. I'm going Philadelphia here. Going Philly. I think they're playing better baseball.
I also went Philadelphia, Eric, for 2 reasons. Because they are playing such great baseball, and the fact that I want them to beat down the San Francisco Giants. I want to sweep.
It's such a man.
Yes.
Davis. That's your guy.
I don't care. He's not my guy. Last year he was my guy. This year, no.
No. July 6th, Ron, WNBA action. You got the Seattle Storm at the New York Liberty.
Oh, that's what that is. I'm like, what is this N7L? I didn't put the top on the Y.
Oh, boy.
So it looks like N7L, and I'm like, who the heck is this? I'm going New York Liberty. You know, I just think they're a better team.
One
They're
loss at home
I
for
know
the.
they're struggling lately.
Yeah, they 5 losses. They went
Yes.
from undefeated to just not playing very well,
In 2
but
weeks. I know.
they are much better at home. So I went with the Liberty as well. 7-9 run. Golden State Valkyries at the Indiana Fever. Fever won the Commissioner's Cup, and that was without.
Wait, they have that?
Yeah, they have one too. And they won it without your girl there. So I'm going.
Clark didn't play.
Yeah, out with an injury. I'm going to Indiana here though, at home.
Yeah, I am too. I still think that they're a pretty good team, even without her. With her, they are a contender. Could have been a contender.
Could have been. Major League Soccer tomorrow, Ron. You got the Chicago Fire Football Club at Football Club Cincinnati. What do you have?
I don't know how they named this team the Fire. I don't like.
Is
that
the
is
Chicago Fire is the show
in this city?
Isn't that the show though? Maybe the Chicago Fire.
Fire, yes. I love that show, by the way.
They did it after the show.
Yeah, no, they absolutely named it after the big fire that burnt the city to the ground.
There you go, buddy.
You know, I still don't think that they're going to have enough
firepower. Not enough firepower.
Yeah, no, they don't have enough firepower.
Yeah, I went with Cincinnati as well at home. So I agree with you there.
Okay, so we got to have something different here.
Hopefully the driver here for the NASCAR.
You know, if you keep picking my picks, you won't catch me.
It's a good call. Well, I'm not picking your picks. I picked beforehand, and we both just are really intelligent
the beauty
people.
Of this is you can't just take it for granted. We're going to just pick this team. You can't do that. That's why we do this alternating.
July 6th, this Sunday, Grant Park 165 in Chicago. It's a street race.
Is that like a NASCAR driver's name from the past or something?
Grant Park. It sounds like one, right? That could work. Hi, I'm Grant Park, NASCAR racer.
Right.
We need a top 5. It is a cool name. We should change our names, maybe, Ron. Hi, this is Grant Park of Sports Unfolded.
Yeah, see, there's something.
It works.
That's what it takes.
That's what we need. We need a top 5 driver is what we need, Ron. Who do you have?
I'm going to go with Kyle Larson today.
Ooh, Kyle Larson.
For this weekend. Kyle Larson. I haven't picked him in a while.
Okay. I'm going. I like the name. He's done well here in Chicago. Ty Gibbs. Sounds like a
football player.
Or a singer. Right.
Ooh,
Ty Gibbs. See, that could be I'll be Grant Park and you be Ty Gibbs. Sports
There
Unfolded.
we go. Oh my God, there's the stage names right there.
We're in. We're in.
How you doing, Grant?
Doing well, Ty. Thank you. Oh my goodness. That is our prediction segment.
You get comedy show with
you get a little bit of everything here. A little bit of everything. Ron, before we move on to our final thoughts, I think the wonderful people out there that have joined us live tonight and are going to watch afterwards need to know how they can become a sponsor of our show and get their names in that little banner there and an ad read. I would love for you to explain that to them.
I would love for somebody to explain it to me too. Look, it's like we do all the time, and I think I got rid of the graphic, and I was supposed to make a new one, and I forgot to upload it. Oh. So we're winging it at this point. So
but look, you can have your ad here. I got you. We'll go.
Right. I know. I can't. It's not there. But sponsor the show. You can have your ad up there. Have your banner here, sponsor the show, Rhode Island Broadcasting.media. RIBroadcasting.media at gmail.com. See, when the teleprompter isn't there, I'm a mess. And I can send you out the media kit, and it can explain everything you need to know to sponsor the show. But Eric, like I say, every week, it's like going to your local coffee shop. But in this case, I will say your frozen lemonade shop and getting a nice, large watermelon.
Let me ask you this question.
Lemonade.
Is it cheaper than eggs?
I don't know about that.
Pretty
but
close.
It's about the same.
Pretty close. You know what I mean? Eggs, gas. It's less than a gallon of gas. So a full tank of gas. So check us out. Obviously, we're looking to continue to grow. We would love to help you grow as well. Not only will it be visually when we air live, but it'll also be heard on all our audio platforms.
And there's
as well.
A lot of them.
So added some new ones there. What was that? What's the funky one now? Pulse?
Rumble.
Rumble. That was close.
And I would say that catchphrase, but that is against the law.
All right. But again, join us on all our social media platforms. Like, share, and follow us. Tell your friends about it. And join us every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the best sports podcast on the planet. Ron, with that, it is final thoughts time. And our final thoughts don't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It could be about anything happening in the world today. You are first tonight. Your final thought?
I didn't get to mention this last week, mostly because I think it was happening at that moment. I don't know if anybody caught the NHL draft.
Oh yeah, dude! That's exciting. Whoever puts that
was an abomination.
Oh, it's brutal.
All right, and to top it all off, of course, my home team couldn't even get their act together to get a functioning connection to talk to the player that they just drafted. They just stood there looking like momos and nothing. And you see it on their blank faces that, oh, wait till they get a load of what we're going to do after the draft. You just saw it coming. I think they did a great job drafting this year. The guy that fell to them at number 7 was supposed to be the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
He's got a lot of talent. He's small.
Yes. That's why they said he dropped. Yeah, there are
Yes.
questions about his size.
Yes, but he's still got a lot of talent. But the problem I'm having with all this, it's like the NHL tried to be, the NBA and the NFL, and they failed miserably. It was just brutal to watch. It was brutal. The only good part I had out of it was Adam Sandler that introduced the Bruins draft pick.
There you go, buddy.
He's a Bruins fan.
That's the highlight of it for you.
That is
great.
the highlight
That's
of
awesome.
the whole thing.
That's
After
amazing.
the Bruins picked, I'm like, I don't know how much more of this I could watch. And it was only 5 more picks. And then I'm like, okay, this is just dreadful. I had to change it.
I put it on for about 2 minutes and I said, I can't watch this.
It was awful.
And then they can't even pronounce the guys'
job.
names. I thought I was bad at pronouncing names. They were just as bad sometimes.
It was
yeah.
brutal.
Yeah.
It was
all right,
brutal.
Ron. Well said.
Not really, but that's okay.
Yeah, well said. Listen, up their game if they're going to be contenders. My final thought is about the NFL and how powerful the NFL really is. So the governor of Ohio has accepted and approved a new stadium for the Cleveland Browns, one of the worst franchises, as we've done, the worst franchise in sports history. Somehow is getting a new stadium built for a team that has a quarterback that likes to play with masseuses, Another quarterback that likes.
It's because they need some special rooms for those
What is how powerful of a league is the NFL right now that you can have one of the worst franchises in sports history getting a new stadium, and they haven't won anything. They've won nothing. Like, at least if you said, oh, they make the playoffs a couple times and they've won nothing.
Wait, didn't they win the lottery this year? Oh, wait, no, they didn't. Never mind.
So it just goes to prove to you that it doesn't matter. The worst team in the NFL is still better than most sports franchises in any other sport because they're going to get a new stadium and they don't deserve it.
Look, Eric, all you have to do is just do this. Put the Cleveland Browns up for sale. See how much it goes for.
Yeah.
I bet you it's more than $10.8 billion.
Which is crazy, right? Absolutely insane. More than the Lakers, yeah. All right, my friend. That has been our show tonight. I hope everyone out there has had a great time. Want to take some time to thank those that are going to listen to us on Saturday. They're in Dallas, Georgia, 99.1 WDJY FM. We appreciate your support every Saturday at 1 p.m., as well as WBOB 990 in Providence, Rhode Island. Thank you for putting us on every Saturday at 10 a.m. and SECTV Public Access Channel 12 on every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're watching or listening to us on any of those platforms, please join us every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love to have you. Love to have you join the chat. Want to thank all those that have joined us live today. Danny was great. We got a lot from Kick tonight, so we want to thank everybody that watched us on Kick, as well as Mary and Bill. Thank you guys for joining us tonight as well. Tell your friends about us. Join us next Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ron, thank you again. I had a blast tonight. And all I ever ask for every single show is that we finally get some peace on Earth.
Have a great night, everybody. Time to take my blood pressure pills.